On the calendar, it's officially springtime, but we may still get a little bit of snow, but I don't think it'll be enough that I'll need the snowblower on the tractor. So we're gonna go ahead and today I'm gonna get that unhooked and drop the subframe off and switch back on to the loader that's right here over my shoulder. So we'll get that all swapped out, and I'm just gonna walk through the steps of how you pull off the snowblower, disconnect the hydraulics, disconnect the electrical, disconnect the subframe from the bottom of the tractor, and the mid PTO connection. So the tractor is all muddy right now because I went out and tried to straighten up our road a little bit. It's got a bunch of potholes in it from the winter time. Got it a little smoother, but not perfect. And today what I want to do is disconnect the snowblower. It's a Kubota L4474 commercial snowblower that eats through snow like you can't even imagine, but it does a fantastic job for what we use it for. And this is the subframe that provides a 4-point hitch to the front of the tractor to be able to connect the snowblower. The subframe runs the entire length underneath the tractor all the way to the back and connects on below it to mount all this up to it. On the other side over here, you've got all the hydraulic connections. So there's the hydraulic connections that control the rotation of the chute and the up and down portion of the chute for directional blowing of the snow. And then those hydraulic lines come back here to the rear and connect into this area right here, which it shares all the hydraulic connections with the loader. So that's why you can't have the loader on while you have the subframe on, because they use the same exact connections. And then you can see that subframe a little better as it goes underneath the tractor here. It comes all the way to the rear, and it's actually pinned in place in the rear by the drawbar here. So you can kind of see the subframe down here below the tractor. And then the mid PTO, I don't know if I'll be able to get a good enough shot of it underneath here, but there's the mid PTO mount that connects the front PTO shaft to the snowblower. Okay, so the first step we're going to do is disconnect this drive shaft right here that runs to the mid PTO in the back and connects to the gearbox on the snowblower. And this has got your standard quick coupler in the back on this end. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Okay, so the female portion of the drive shaft has been removed and is disconnected from the subframe. This is the portion that stays on the snowblower, and it has this little kickstand that flips around and holds it up to keep that supported. The next step I got to do is pull these little pins that are on either side of the 4-point hitch and get that disconnected so that I can start disconnecting the 4-point hitch from the actual snowblower. Okay, so the next step is going to be to slowly lower this back down to the ground and relieve the pressure on the hydraulic system by moving the stick and the cab in every direction so that it'll just release all that pressure. And then I can start backing away from this. There we go. So the hydraulic hoses use these quick couplers that are right here. There's 4 of them. So there's 2 sets of hydraulic lines. You have a high and a low. And all you do to disconnect them is once you relieve the pressure, you should be able just to pull back on this connector and it'll pop right off. There's 1. There's 2. I'd highly recommend you wear gloves every time you do this for a multiple number of reasons. But the biggest one is you're going to get hydraulic fluid on you. There's always a little bit of residual that's going to drip off. There we go. It's not very easy to hold a camera and pull hydraulic lines off at the same time. So there we go. So the hydraulics are all disconnected. There's still one electrical connection. I've got to unwrap all these from the little tie down areas so that everything can go forward. Okay, so now I've backed about 6 or 8 feet off and the snowblower is completely disconnected from the tractor. You can see the 4-point hitch here in the front again and the subframe that goes underneath, all the hydraulic connections on the side there. But we're all completely disconnected. And now so the first thing I got to do is disconnect the drive line from the mid PTO on the tractor and then remove a couple pins on the midsection here. They are right in there on each side. You can kind of see them underneath here. So I'll get those done and we'll go from there. So the next thing we're going to do is I put this board into the front so the 4-point hitch doesn't just dig into the gravel. But I've got the center pins removed, got the drive line disconnected. So now I'm going to lower the 4-point hitch so that it raises my wheels up off the ground just a little bit. And that's going to take the tension off the other pins. We'll get those pulled out, get this thing dropped off. Ready to start putting the loader on. So the goal is going to be to get that pin right there on the loader bucket into this little groove on the bottom. And unfortunately I cannot hold the camera and drive the tractor at the same time and pay attention to these pins going into place. So you'll just have to trust me that all that happened in between this and the next shot. Through the magic of the internet, I got the loader back on. I couldn't film any of that. I just didn't have enough hands and eyeballs to be able to watch what I was doing and be careful. And get the loader on. So you'll just have to trust me that it wasn't that bad. So essentially what happens is those pins I showed you earlier are right here. So this piece gets rocked back in, you tip the loader back, these side pins go in, and that locks the loader on, and then all the hydraulic connections. So these are the hydraulic connections for my third function up front, and these are the actual loader functions for up, down, curl, in and out, and everything. And then just to give you a quick peek, so that's my third function in the front. So for anybody who's not tractor literate, a third function allows you to disconnect the bucket. So this type of tractor has a quick disconnect bucket. You can take the bucket off. It has what's called a quick skid steer attach on the front. And then you can attach other devices on the front. And if the tool that you put on the front of the tractor is hydraulic driven, you would plug it into these two ports right here, and then you have hydraulic pressure to that item. So for instance, in one of my videos I have a picture of a very large auger that I use for drilling fence post holes. When I hook that on the front, I hook it up to the third function, and then I can control the drilling of the auger from this control stick within the tractor. So that's just a quick little walk around of the loader. I'm really happy to have the loader back on and be able to start doing some work. Pretty soon I'll be showing some videos. This is all going to get graveled in this area. I got to clean all this up, and then you can see out here there's a path that I'm working on that'll go all the way out and around, and it's going to give my wife and my dog a place to go for a walk. And then over there is the snowblower and the subframe that I just removed. So like I said, we'll get that all packaged up. That's not its final resting spot. Eventually all the tools are going to get moved over to the other side of the shop here. So more videos to come. You'll see those pretty soon. And stay tuned.